Welcome, everyone. You are listening to and perhaps watching Calling the Audible. I'm your on-again, off-again host, Peace Valeries. Joining me is the no longer sick Iggy Magnus and the super healthy but slowly dying Eagle at Master Control. Hi, Eagle.
Am I really dying, though? I think we're all dying.
Dude, all the sugar, man. It's a lot.
You didn't bring me any. What were these, like,
You
junior
smashed it.
mints?
There was some left here, I guess, from last week.
Yeah,
you
they were
smashed it during the first show.
In my favorite expression, everybody dies.
So,
Is that the new YOLO? Is that the Eagle version of YOLO?
everyone dies?
Everyone dies.
Prove me wrong.
We're going to be making some changes to media in the upcoming seasons.
Okay. Starting off with a bang.
No, I'm not saying personnel. I'm saying an approach.
Okay. I thought you were.
I'm not
I thought you were
firing-
firing me.
That
on
would
the
be an
air.
awesome segment.
On the
That would be
air.
amazing.
I'll
Holy
be just be
shit.
like,
Get the fuck out.
who can we fire? I want to do this now.
Pulling
no.
Ari Gold right here.
I want to change the approach a little bit. I want to make it a little bit more modern, and
ooh.
I want to make it a little bit more a little bit easier to hit benchmarks and consistency because we've struggled.
Oh no.
Don't
do the day
no,
articles.
no, it's not that. But I think we're going to start doing more and more short-term content on Instagram and quick, power rankings, that kind of stuff, and that way the articles can serve somewhat of a different purpose.
Well, let's pull back the curtain a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, the reason I'm doing this is because, as much as I get flack for being arrogant and condescending, which I am, I'm also really open to suggestions, and I do like to hear what other people have to say because I don't have all the answers, and also I'm 40. I don't always know what young people like, so
I do.
we have an increasingly younger demographic, and.
Yeah.
I still consume media like an old person. I still read the newspaper, for example. I read 3 newspapers a day.
Boy. Okay.
It's my thing. It's like it's how I like to get news.
Right.
So that said, I would like to get people's input on how we can improve, how we can better cover the league. And look, some ideas aren't practical and won't work, but like I'll give you an idea. I sat down with Chris Rivet, had a couple of beers, and we talked. We didn't talk. He talked about doing the
Mic'd up.
mic'd up,
Yeah, it was awesome.
and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. We should do it, and like we started riffing on a whole bunch of other ideas that we're gonna look to unveil as well. But like Chris has taken that thing, and it's the coolest thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
And like
it's really good.
we have. Think about it, like what we've done in terms of content, right? Like weekly podcast, weekly YouTube show, weekly. We have now a much more engaging, like Instagram, social media type page. For what we've done with the finals, with live replays and coaching challenges and game of the week, and we've done a lot as a media in FPF. I say we because it's a team, and the people listening to the show don't even realize how many people are involved with everything we do, right?
The back end people.
Exactly, and like we get all the credit, of course, by being sort of the most visible people.
Forward, yeah.
But there are a lot of people who help put the show together, the finals together, and so on. But I thought,
By people, you mean me.
no, but not just you. But I was saying how we're not complete assholes, but you're the exception. So
It's true.
like there are cameramen, for example, at roadshows that never get the credit they
Yep.
deserve. They're
It's tough standing like 3-4 hours and like trying to get the best angle, and
Yeah.
you're not sure if you're seeing the perfect way to see the game. Like
Exactly.
you're behind the camera literally, so it's a bit. I've done it once and it was harder than it looks.
And like we know Chris Rivet, but like and James Andrea who added the photos, because I thought the photos were one of the coolest things we added to our articles, right? Because it breaks up the writing and makes it look more interesting, more engaging, and like all that stuff really adds to it. And unless you're really inside the league, you don't necessarily know Chris, you don't necessarily know James, you don't necessarily know our camera people, you don't necessarily know all of the people involved, and Jeremy who manages the Instagram.
Yeah.
It's our last show, so I kind of want to shout people out for the work they've done this season.
I see that, yeah.
But I do want to get people more involved. I do want to get more people from our community involved in the media as well. So if you're interested, and if you have ideas, I'm always down for a chat, for a drink, for a coffee. Honestly, one thing we do with FPF, we do like to joke around, and Eagle does like to play up his character a little bit, but we are really approachable, and we are really listening to concerns. We want to make this league as good as possible, and above all, this community is this league is a community of players. Iggy, to me, is the greatest example of us turning to the community and saying, like, we need fresh blood, right? And we found someone who's really into the league and really loved it the same way we did. Another crazy person, so we brought him along board. And in my opinion, it's been one of the best hires we've had in years. So, after myself, obviously. But all I have to say is that we're looking to do more. I want to do more in French as well. I want to get more women's voices involved for co-ed and women's. It's the coolest thing. Like, having played co-ed this year, I'm not immune to seeing morons on comments and for the WNBA and criticizing the WNBA and stuff, and we don't have that really with our women's league and with our co-ed league. They're respected by our community, and that to me it's the coolest thing. It's what sports should be. It should bring people together. It shouldn't divide people. And Flag Plus has always done that. So I'm really excited to see where this can go, and I really want to hear input. I really want to see what we can do next.
And for those of you who have previously auditioned or trialed or attempted a job here in our media team and realized, holy crap, it takes me 4 to 8 hours to write an article, it's not worth the fee. These are some of the concerns we're trying to address in this new media approach, because not everyone is Pease who uses this as a creative outlet on his Sunday mornings, essentially, to try and release what I'll call his, Michelangelo tensions type of thing. Is that a nice way to put it?
I was going to say incredible thoughts.
I like that better. I was trying to be more dramatic.
IYKYK. But the long form articles will remain. That's part of what we want to do, but we want to incorporate some shorter, quicker media as well. So that way we can alleviate some of the pressure from the writers so they can deliver better, more interesting, more detailed content. We want to get some more freelance work. We want to get the community involved.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's probably the biggest thing that we've always struggled with, is involving community members as part of our content. Because, I mean, even from your perspective as a community member, it's a time investment, right? Whether we're doing a call-in on the show, you have to be available at a certain time for us to reach out to. If we're at a field, we're taking up time when you maybe want to go home or get a drink with your buddies and everything. If you're coming, we used to do a big production for finals, right? We used to do the media packages, which is awesome to create. But also, if you have to drive half an hour, to stand around for an hour, to be interviewed for 2 minutes, to end up in a 10-second clip.
And then some of us don't take it seriously and treat it like a Japanese game show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, we can understand why, like, that's a huge investment for you for, like, a little piece of content. So we're trying to make it such that you can get involved in things. So we're not just looking at stat sheets and box scores, and actually get true feedback from our community. And some of the things we've done this year on Instagram is a reflection of that, and that's our kind of direction moving forward.
Yeah, we want, obviously, the Instagram stuff. Like, look, if you have footage you want to send to us for us to post and share it with a larger group of people, obviously we love that. It's content for us, and
tag us in it for sure.
But for people who want to make an actual investment in helping with some freelance stuff, don't worry. We're not Elon Musk. We're not going to charge you $8 to create content. We're going to pay you to create content. I saw that snarky smile, Iggy. I saw it. I caught it. For those, the video audience saw it. Don't worry. But yeah, so all that to say, I want to thank everyone who's been involved, who are not the faces of the league like we are, who are behind the scenes, who make everything work. Duke, the graphics, right? Like, this show is gonna be really heavy on graphics, and he had to put all that together last minute. And I know him personally, and I know how much work he does outside of FPF. So it's amazing that he takes time away from paying work to do work that doesn't pay as much, but that he loves, right? So it's really a work of passion for us. And I wanted to draw attention to that. At the same time, talk about the direction we want to go to, and also sort of put out a notice for those people who enjoy the content, who say, I can do a better job than Pease and Iggy. Thank you. Please come on down. We want to involve you. A couple of people have already reached out just organically, and I'd love that. I'd love to get more people involved.
Give me a name.
Tyler Gerberg.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Off the top of my head. There's been more, but Tyler Gerberg's the first one that came to my head.
Nice.
Dude's really interested. Or the dude who did the finals with me, Noah.
Yes.
Last year.
Yeah.
He did a great job.
Mendelssohn,
that's it. Yeah. I didn't want to get his name wrong. So thank you, Iggy, for helping out the old man with CTE. Please reach out. Please reach out any way you can find any of us. If you see us at the field, you hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. I try to answer all of my messages within 24 hours. Iggy knows. Even after we hang out, if I didn't see his message, he'll have messaged me, I'm here, and then like 3:00 in the morning when I get home, be like,
I'm here.
cool, bro,
too.
I saw you. Thanks,
And I
man.
know I'm late for answering P's when I get a follow up of my dude question
Yeah.
mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I need the answer immediately. But let's get into some content for the league.
Oh, actually, I had one last thing I wanted to mention here.
ahead.
Actually, two things. One, registration for winter is still ongoing, so make sure you get your team in and I'll register. We'll be doing our free agent frenzy camp shortly for anyone who's registering as an individual and you're looking for players. If you need a roster revision review request, a lot of ours, go ahead and submit that through our request page. Usually it takes us somewhere between 24 to 48 hours to get back to you. We have been getting a lot of them this season, so be a little bit patient as we go through that.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, if you have a request that's in and you haven't registered a team yet because of that, we're going to keep registration open for them if that were to happen. It hasn't happened thus far because we still have a little bit of time left before registration windows close, but definitely get those registrations in and get your team locked in for winter. And then the other thing I wanted to mention this quickly, we'll be announcing our Hall of Fame nominees for the class of 2022. I know we talked about it a few episodes ago. So we're going through our short list. As of right now, we have 71 people that are on our large short list that we're sorting through. We're going to try and get that down to our top 25 candidates because giving 70 names to everyone and saying take your pick is a little bit intense. So we're narrowing that down. Hopefully we'll have it ready, I want to say tomorrow, maybe. I mean, tomorrow is Saturday by the time this goes up. So yes, Saturday, and have that list published. And then not the week of finals, but the week after we'll do our announcements and kind of like our Christmas huzzah episode if we're going to do one, or I don't know what we'll do, but we'll have something there to officially announce it. Like usual, we have write-ups that go up, and that'll be for players as well as a staff member and a referee.
Yeah. I'd like to do sort of like a video product for that too. We'll probably hit up the studio, do a little recording. We'll do them all one night and then
Rebuild
release
the
them.
set.
We'll release them one day after another.
Cool.
Should we bring like wardrobe changes, Eagle, so it looks like we did it on different days?
I mean, as long as you don't bring green. Oh, actually, you know what? No, let's do that. Bring
Just
green,
green.
and I can just CGI you in.
Yeah, just CGI like a different sort of clothes on me each day.
I'll just build like a set around you, and I'll just put your
Fit you
face
in, yeah.
on a body that we keep
Perfect.
changing. It'd be perfect.
Hey, man, you've been quiet so far.
Yeah, well, it's because you took me on that roller coaster. You like fired me, then gave me praise, and then I was gonna.
You do look bizarrely worried. You're not being fired. I love your work.
Yeah.
You're great, my dude.
Cool,
I like you.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So, by the way, congratulations on
Oh,
making
thank you.
another final.
Thank you. Yeah.
By the way, if there was ever proof that
Yeah.
anyone could take our plays and play quarterback, it's this. It's that Iggy started running an offense like years after I did and is already far more
No,
proficient. at it.
I'll say it like this. I started playing QB just with like I now realize a horrible playbook was like a 3-to-1 touchdown to INT ratio kind of guy, just based on like just whatever natural ability and just drawing up not random plays, but whatever, just drawing up
plays
certain
I feel you didn't fully understand how to read. and-
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to a low point of my God, I'm not good at quarterback. I'm done. I'm done. It's not my thing. I'm a receiver first, and I'm gonna drop the thing. To then being asked by Alex Blay, hey, do you want to just quarterback my team with like my friends and whatnot in like Div 6 and Div E? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I'll give it one more kick at the can. To then, QB's getting injured on other teams. I'm like, okay, I'll go in.
To
And
throwing 51 touchdowns and no interceptions in the season.
yeah, based on just a couple of your plays.
Well,
some-
not just mine. They're plays again.
Sure.
I run them.
the
Stephen H.
theory, right?
There's a specific group of guys who run these
Right.
plays. It's
And
the Illuminati in FPF that run.
yeah,
these
so
plays.
taking from like a 3-to-1 to like a 2-to-1 TD ratio to now like a 5-to-1
Yeah.
TD ratio. I always thought you were joking when you said like, if literally I can run these plays and
Anyone
like
can.
have success.
Because I'm literally anyone.
Literally, I'm like, oh shit, he's right. It's kind of cool. It's fun, and now I dare I say I might love the position more than receiver.
For sure.
And I was always like a big
And you're a
time
really good receiver, by the way.
Yeah.
So-
So I always loved receiver. It was my thing. My favorite moment that I want to capture in like a tattoo somehow is when that ball, there's a split second when the ball's in the air and you need the utmost concentration. You need 100% concentration just to bring it in. You gotta close your eyes at the right time just to make sure. Like, I love that moment. There's other moments I love now more, like throwing a ball and like getting the fitting it in like a perfect
To me,
window.
it's the putting
crazy.
it over defender and into a receiver's hands. It's nice.
Yeah,
It's a nice
yeah,
feeling.
Yeah,
But just to say, if you haven't tried playing quarterback yet, try it.
yeah. Give it
Just so that way you know how hard it is, and just so that way you're more forgiving with your quarterbacks
Absolutely.
when you're playing receivers.
I still think I love every quarterback's conversation of someone saying, just run triple slants. And you go, oh, okay.
yeah.
It's so everyone should run triple slants. However, you need to understand what you're looking at in triple slants.
I remember the first time Andel Gordon Thomas told me to run triple slants. They run into the higher divisions. I'm like, this is the stupidest play ever. I'm
It's
like,
not.
what is this? Now I run it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just call it moving hooks.
yeah.
But that's the thing. It's something like that where it's such a simple concept, but unless you know what you're looking for, right? And that's the development at the quarterback position. But we'll get into let's get into some of our action. We got not as much in the show because we have less teams.
Yep.
Right. So
Like
I didn't mind
finals.
taking a bit of a 15-minute detour there.
Yeah.
But hopefully for those just interested in the games, you're clicking now.
That's a timestamp for you.
Eagle.
We're going to start with the women's division and just an update on our current bracket.
Eagle, you made a bold statement last week that if you don't score points, you can't win a game.
I know. I thought it was a shocker to everyone involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one were you referring to there, Eagle?
This is going to be the Vortex Red Nation game,
Number
our
5.
what I'll describe as our semifinal in the lower bracket to get to the final.
Yeah.
And turns out, you need points to win a game.
Yeah.
At least one. In this case, there were none.
Well, in this case, it would have been at least 38. Gabrielle Vanier continued her tear. Her and Girard have like an amazing connection, and it's Catherine Girard can create play, can create yards off the catch. She can get balls deep. She can play possession. She's just a great player, right? So we've seen that throughout the season. But here's the thing. She also had 9 targets going to Joanie Prévost. She had 9 targets going to Virginie Opoumena, who in her own right is a really good receiver too. So the result doesn't surprise me. Red Nation, I think, overmatched. Their defense is good, but it's not good enough to contain the Vortex defense. They're good in that they're going to get a turnover on Vortex, which is in some playoff games all you need. But you need to be able to score and keep pace. And Alison Sobel, unfortunately, I think it's back to drawing board a little bit for her offense. I wouldn't say necessarily replace the person, but maybe find a way to create better success for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
run a system that's better suited for what she does well, and use the players that you have.
I mean, it's a bit of a simple analysis, but it seems to work against the bad teams, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I heard what Lemise was talking about. It's just if it's a good system, it'll work against any team.
It doesn't.
That's the
It doesn't. It doesn't work against bad teams. You're better than the bad teams, and that's why you're beating them.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's and I'm not saying Sobel's system is not great. I'm not saying that it's like flawed in and of itself. I just don't know if it's built for her skill set. I think she needs to strip it down and go play by play and say, all right, this is what I'm doing well on this play.
Yep.
What part of this play is not working? Next play. What part of the play is not working? And redesign it.
And you've done this practice where you have your playbook
Mm-hmm.
and you literally draw the defenses that are
Yeah.
possible on a piece of paper.
Coming back from Barcelona, my wife thought it was crazy because on the plane ride, all I was doing while she was sleeping, she kind of woke up to see me like drawing all of my plays against all the different typical zones.
Yeah.
Cover 2, but dropping 1-3. Cover 2, dropping 2-4. Cover 2, dropping 1-5.
Yeah.
Cover 3, same thing. 4-1, same thing. And then she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm drawing all my plays against all the defenses." She's like, "Okay." And then I confessed to her, I'm like, I kind of do this once every 2 or 3 weeks. Sometimes I'm in a meeting and I'm secretly doing that just to keep my mind busy when like I'm not particularly involved in that part of the meeting.
Yeah.
Hope my boss is not listening. She's not. So, I think that's because I think Alison Sobel has ability. I just don't think she's maximizing that ability.
Yeah, fair. I think the reading of the field is the biggest concern.
Because man, like the team's got Rachel Villiers, KL and Beckles. They have Lamis Aljundi. They normally have Rachel Villiers, who wasn't there for this game.
No, she was.
No, she was. She was the most targeted. 13.
Oh, she was. Sorry. I had to scroll slightly up on my computer. But yeah, so like
even Nikki
Lemoniade
No,
Yeah,
but
it's
you're
really good
thinking
too, like-
Geraldine Cabello Bante. That's who you're thinking
Yes,
of, right?
GG.
PS?
Yes. GG.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's not who I was thinking of. Again, I had poorly scrolled, but that's another player as well. Not that for this game specifically, but they have the right pieces.
the
I think they
talent's
have
there.
pieces that can fit with Al Sobel.
Yep.
It's about finding the best way to use these pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they just last word on this game. It's one stat stands out to me. It's 3 receptions on 11 targets for 16 yards for Nikki Lemoniade. Like she doesn't have the best of hands, but she has game-breaking ability when she gets the ball in her hands. I see a lot of forced balls, a lot of low balls to the ground where there's no chance, overshooting, and then a couple drops here and there from her.
There's another thing too as a quarterback you learn where like ball placement for certain receivers.
Yes.
For certain receivers it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
For some receivers they need it in their chest.
Yeah.
They need it right there.
Yeah.
So like some receivers will tell me like, or even I've said it when I was a snapper, like just put it in the clock.
Yeah.
Like
Anywhere.
I'm not a guy who's gonna dive. I don't have great like natural speed or whatever. So like I'm not gonna be able to dive for balls or I can't kick it to second gear. You got to put the ball on me. You got to put in the clock.
Yeah.
And so that's something I think she can do better with a receiver like Nikki to get in her hands, let her create the space
Yes,
later.
exactly. Yeah. So
So we have a finals.
yes,
The most predictable finals, perhaps.
I think so.
Brutes versus Vortex. Brutes have handled them.
Yeah, especially lately. Yeah.
That's credit to their entire team, but Maud Lacasse specifically, the dedication she puts into learning what a defense wants to do and then sort of breaking it down, and she has a really analytical view of the game, and Brut have just an overwhelming defensive concept and defensive ability, which, as good as their offense is, I'm not convinced their defense isn't better. And that's been the issue for Vortex recently. They haven't been able to keep up with the scoring.
Yeah, and we saw the Brutes Eagle on the Instagram page. They were celebrating the victory against Vortex with the post-game beers.
I'm not going to lie. As someone who's very self-absorbed, I took that as an insult because I thought Maud was coming back at me. I thought it was part of our rivalry again. It wasn't her celebrating. It was her giving me the finger.
Oh, wow, really? You thought that was like a big F-U to you?
Yeah, I took it completely. Listen, I'm like Mo Cotton here.
That's
I'm
strange.
old school media. I think all of it is about me, the media member, not the teams, not the players.
Uh-huh. So, obviously, Vortex will have to take away the beast of the Brut, that is Laurence Pontbriand.
I was going to ask a question about
that's
it,
obvious.
actually.
Yeah.
Just relating to what you're saying, I don't mean
Yes.
to cut you off, but is there a better red zone threat
No.
for their division
No.
than she is to women's?
No.
Like, it's not close, right?
No, it's not even close.
It's a Brady Gronkowski comparison. Like
yes.
it's just
100%. It's
like,
Gronk
like
2.0.
Mo could throw it to
You
a
guys-
spot.
You guys said it. It's Gronk 2.0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you make your cut here. I'm throwing it here. Go get the ball,
Yeah.
and she gets it.
And there's
Great
no-
body control,
yeah.
good speed, great physicality, all that.
And like you said, great ball placement by Maud Lacasse. It's literally her receiver or no one else.
And it's often Laurence Pontbriand.
But despite that name, hovering all of our podcasts, I think Annie Pierre Bedud was
She was huge last time.
like
Like she had 2 touchdowns.
That's it. Like she was the X factor for the Brut. That if Vortex is gonna be doubling up Laurence Pontbriand, that there are other weapons on this team. It's not just the Pontbriand and it ends there, and if you double cover it or take it away, that's the end of the Brut offense. It extends way past her. I mean, even her the two other receivers, Rebecca Decady-Corbeil and Annabelle Chevrier, both were targeted 16 times for 98 yards. Like we're talking some serious damage here with 11 receptions. So. And that's the claim.
And the defensive Annabelle Chevrier and Maggie Gervais, like they're pieces that
Great rusher, by the way.
Yeah,
Maggie
amazing.
Gervais is really
It's-
really
again
good rusher.
when you watch Bullet, they're a machine.
Yes.
They're just absolutely mechanical.
Yeah.
It's the thing that draws me to Vortex.
Yeah.
It's the artistry. It's like I don't know. I just love seeing sort of the free flowing nature of Gab Vanier's style. Her willingness to throw off platform, to throw on the move, for her to throw like quick check backside, throw backside. It's it's a more narrow field than a regular FPF field. So it's not as dangerous to throw across her body the way she does. She's gonna throw interceptions. That's part of her game. She's a gunslinger.
Fine.
Sorry?
That's fine.
If you can score and if you can move the ball the way she does.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Peace. They've put up 13 points in their past, like in each of the last 2 games.
Like it's 7. Let's say you get 7 possessions.
Yeah. 5.
Fine. You throw 2 picks.
Yeah. You gotta score. You gotta score
5. And here's the thing: if that's the game you play, you need to outperform Maud Lacasse on converts.
Yes.
That's a tall order.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tall order.
So what do they have to do differently? Because now, like I said, in each of the last 2 games, 13 points.
Sequencing. They need to run a play, and then Brut say, "Oh, we recognize that play."
Yeah.
And the next time you run it, you run a variation off that.
Yes,
play.
it has.
That's the thing. That's because that's what breaks that mechanical mold. It's a thing you and I have been talking about all season. It's like once you run these set of plays, the defenses start to recognize it. What's the thing we do next, right?
Exactly.
And
that's the chess game of flag, right?
Absolutely.
It's the offensive coordinator side of things.
And it's so hard because the NFL, for example, I'm using the NFL just because it's the most ubiquitous league, but there's tackle football leagues in general that are, let's say the game is a 3-hour broadcast and there's just built-in breaks, and in that time there's only 14 minutes of action, right? That's the study is that for every 60-minute game there's 14 minutes of action. FPF is the opposite. It's 44 minutes and 5 plays per half of just blazing outright speed. Plays get called quickly. People get in and out of the huddle quickly. Women's division largely taught me how important it is to go through that sugar huddle and no huddle. Sometimes no huddle, sometimes like quick huddling, and just getting to the line of scrimmage quickly. And that's what you see. Like you talk about often. You don't understand how I can throw 40 passes a game. More like Cats threw 40 passes. Yeah. And that's where I got that from. Where you have to understand the game you're playing. The game you're playing is you need to maximize every down, take the yards where they are, move the ball. And Maud Lacasse is as good at doing that as possible. Gab Vanier, that's the next step for her. She's always looking for the kill shot. That's fine, but find ways to build in like the alternate versions of that. Yeah. Instead of they're expecting that post on this play, that receiver runs a dig, and now that safety's dropping and that space is open. You know what I mean? Like things like that.
Yeah. So like I'm looking at that. Like we're just looking at the game score here, but like Vortex had the 13-9 lead at halftime.
Yeah.
If they get a lead like this at in the final, but it seems like they were able to adjust and put up 28 unanswered points on them. Like if Vortex has another 13-9 lead and start with the ball, because I believe Vortex was the number 1 seed. Oh, but are the double elimination team, so they actually will be the home. They are considered the home team, and never mind, they were the number 1 seed anyways. So Brut decided to start with the ball on offense on the first, anyways, in the semifinal game. If Vortex have a 13-9 lead, what do they have to do to prevent it from becoming a blowout again and ultimately getting a championship here?
So clock management is important.
Yeah.
Take as much time as possible when you have the lead. Get the ball out of Brut's hands.
Yes.
Then the next thing you need to do is, let's say the sequencing is too complicated to build in with such a short time period. Build your game plan. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1, you're using these types of plays.
Mm-hmm.
Act 2, sort of end a half. This is what you're going to run. Run that. Lead the second half with that. See how they adjust. Now, you need to have a set of plays you say for the third act. For how do we maintain the lead, or how do we use these plays to regain our lead?
Yeah.
And make sure it's not something Brut can just sit back and wait on, because that plays into what they do well. Yeah. They're a sentient learning machine. They're Terminators. Straight up.
Jesus, sentient.
Yeah. I mean, all humans are sentient, but if they were robots, they would be sentient robots. They would be human versions of robots.
Yes. I agree.
Come on, you know what I'm saying, Iggy. Some support would be nice.
I said yes. I agree.
Yeah.
How much more support do you want?
And that has been Mansplaining with Peas and Iggy.
Eagle.
All right, we're ready to move on to co-ed.
He wanted to avoid the mansplaining as much as possible.
I did, actually. So we're going to go on to the co-ed division. Is this the point where Peas, you shut up and we let Iggy take over? Or what's
Why?
the general story here?
Why?
Because you lost?
Yeah, it was a good game.
I was part of that team too.
Yeah, he was on that team too.
Yes, but I feel like Peas is responsible for it.
No, it was a good game. We lost in the last play.
Yeah.
We had a chance to win it. I threw behind Louis Bégin, and he had to come back to the ball. If I put it in front of him, we get the win. We didn't. It was a well-played game by both teams. I have nothing but respect for Fast Not Furious.
It was
They're-
a really fun game.
Both times we played them were exceptional games.
Yeah, it was filled with highlights too. Will Powers back
Oh
of
my
the
God.
back of the end zone, one-handed ballerina tiptoe touchdown.
Yeah.
You had a Joey pick six with 2 plays remaining after you threw an interception to
Yeah.
Marvin Steinberg. Like this game was like,
Marvin's pick also, like,
yeah.
I
Marvin's
thought
pick was-
Lewis was open in that play, and
Yeah,
Marvin
yeah.
got back there because he's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, or Quasi's touchdown catch on the left-hand corner in the second half.
may have been a
We-
2-point convert.
Oh, it was a convert. Yes,
Yes.
it was a convert. But
Yeah,
still,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
converts were important in this
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, like,
huge.
honestly, just back and forth. It was a fun game.
Yep.
Literally
Yeah.
no complaints.
Really, it was fun.
I had a blast with Kiss My End Zone, as I always do. It was cool to see how everyone developed with our. I mean, they ran similar plays largely with you, but we brought in me
Yeah.
and Rekka this season, and that was an adjustment. That was fun. But honestly, I have nothing but respect for Fast Not Furious. They're a great team. I love talking trash with them. I love having a good time with them.
Yeah.
I got an OC semi-planned. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun game. But they then went on to lose to Yin and Yang. You were there for that game.
Yeah, so actually that same night that they beat us, they also went on to beat Free Smoke. And yeah, last night, Yin and Yang down 6-13 on Fast Not Furious. I think the play or the drive of the game that really lost it for Fast Not Furious or won it for Y&Y. First and goal from the 10. I believe it. They got even third and goal from about 5 yards away. The defense, I believe, may have been Corey Williams, gets a unnecessary contact penalty on Ryan Dobbs. Automatic first down. First and goal from the 1 with 4 plays to punch it in. And Fast Not Furious are unable to convert and get
with
a touchdown.
Ryan as a snapper, that's shocking.
It was
Because he's so good at that. Just
Yeah.
turning. I'm convinced, by the way. I'm going to ask him about this. When they run a mirrored play,
Yeah.
he has the option to go left or right. And
Yeah,
he dictates first read.
maybe.
I'm almost certain.
I was in the huddle-ish. I'm like in the huddle, but like making
Oh,
sure.
on
like,
Instagram, it's true.
yeah, I was in the huddle, but like also making sure I could see, so I wasn't always hearing what they were saying. I don't think so.
Really? Okay.
Maybe, or maybe not.
Because there seems to be an improvisational nature a little bit to what they do.
But Yin and Yang manned up a lot. They just said, "Look, try and beat us with your guys. They have great
But
defenders."
at the 1, so did they man up on the 1?
yes,
So they didn't run any pick plays?
no, but yeah, yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah.
Like, that's the.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, Jared Taylor was covering Ryan. He's tall, rangy. It's tough, but there are certain
That's why you
plays-
run a slant at him.
Yeah. There's certain play designs and calls that you can run to just get a touchdown. That was to me that was the game-changing drive. Is that Y&Y stood ground on the 1. 4 tries. I'm like, oh, okay. Then in my head, I'm like, this is a touchdown. Like they have a touchdown on this drive, but nope. That was really, really the defining one, and Y&Y drove the field, and I believe that it was that same drive where Rachel Valliere, about 15 yards deep, just on a seam from the sideline, scores a touchdown.
She had a tip pick in her previous game against Villains
Yeah,
where she like dove to make it, got up instead of running it back, and the entire time from catching it to getting up to running, she had the biggest smile on her face. It was awesome. It was so much joy in that moment. It's like, yeah, flying is awesome, man. Like, it really is cool. It really is cool. She's such a great two-way player for Yin and Yang.
Yeah.
And look, she had an impact in this game. She caught a touchdown. You know, I know the way she's using it often, so I see the 4 targets. I doubt very much the drops. I think they're just sort of either discards or her or nothing kind of thing to the sideline. And so I imagine that's what happened there. But defensively, six tackles. She's all over the place.
Yeah.
A big part of running the shadow defense was the ability to use Kay Allen Beckles and Rochelle Villara, I imagine.
100%.
Because they can cover where, like, it's not common to run shadow defense in co-ed.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, and then, like, one of those 6 tackles is preventing Miles Gibbons from running an extra 15 yards downfield too. So like they're not just targeting her; they're very good tackles from Rachel Valia.
Yeah.
Can we talk about what I'll describe as potentially the surprising game in the upper bracket, which is Les Petits Fuck overcoming Easy Fun? Last night, night before? Sunday. This am I the only one surprised by this?
No, I mean maybe. So Nicolas Blais is good. He's not Jeremy White. He played a clean game. The biggest thing for me is, do Easy Fun have the rusher to contain Dom Lafal? Because we've talked about that's the thing that's required to beat Les Petits Fuck.
Yeah, 6 attempts, 56 yards, 2 TDs.
It doesn't appear that way from the stats, but like Easy Fun, as far as I know, have never had a great rusher.
I don't know what they did in this game, but I
mean, nobody was sacked, so that's usually not a good sign. Usually it's Celia Lamar rushing for them. That's not the answer. Look, there's I'd say 95% of the league is not the answer to rush Dom Lafal, so she just falls into 95%
like,
of the category.
This might just be the matchup issue, where it's too much pressure on Nicolas Blais to keep up the scoring with Dom Lafal when he can buy time and do whatever he wants. And I've been on the other side of that against Dom.
Yeah.
When you're not getting pressure, it's so infuriating as a quarterback because you want to get on the field and you're not upset that your defense is like letting you down. It's just that you don't have anybody who can contain him.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating because he gets to buy time and find receivers or take off and just dissect your defense that way. And then you have to go into the field and your job is so hard, drive in, drive out, because you don't have that ridiculous God-given ability.
Yeah. Yeah, so look, yes, Easy Fun loses this game. They're hoping now, facing Y&Y, and hoping to beat them to get a rematch against Les Petits Fuck in the final. To me, they'll have to put. I don't know if he's rushed before, but someone like Samuel Emilio Pelcha to.
He seems to have the body type for it, right?
Yes, that's
just lower to the ground.
Yes,
can cut.
Just follow and force Dom into his classic like. Where's everyone? And he's like,
it's honestly doing the broadcast.
Yeah,
last season.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how from the booth I could see him staring down the rusher, down. That season was Joey Notaro.
Yeah,
staring him down, and not looking at his receivers.
Yeah.
And he had receivers wide open.
Yeah,
wide open.
Yeah,
it was infuriating.
So the key to that, to stopping the Petits Fuck offense, is having a great rusher. It's easier said than done, but it can be done, and the reads are then limited. The space you have to cover is limited as a defense. It makes playing defense a whole lot easier when you have that rusher taking the time away, taking the reads away from Dom Lafal.
So I want to put it out there. Emilio Pelcha literally has 6 career sacks.
But he doesn't play
since
rusher
2018. Often. Exactly. So he's never really played rusher, or at least statistically it doesn't look that way. Who do you think, if they were to go with him, has the advantage in that matchup? Emilio Pelcha being the wild card and not knowing how to predict how he's going to rush, or Dom Lafal, where he can basically get his way in terms of figuring out what's going on?
Dom has the advantage.
Yeah.
Dom has the advantage against anybody Easy Fun can throw at them. They can throw at him. Which is wild because of how fast Easy Fun are, right?
Yeah.
They just don't have a real rusher, like somebody who's dedicated at that. Like a Denzel or Joey Notaro.
Although
or Julie Pema.
Maxime Boucher-Cyr had about 7 sacks in Tier 1.
Yeah, but Tier 1 is different.
It is a different type of quarterback.
You have to clean up the coverage sacks is the one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas, here it's chasing a dude down and making sure he doesn't roast you. It's different.
It's
Now,
very
that
hard
being
to do.
said, during the regular season, LPP and Easy Fun didn't play, but Y&Y did, and Y&Y beat LPP 39-21. So you think they're the better matchup to try and get through the lower bracket into the finals against LaFour, or what do you think the better plan is here, or the better matchup, let's call it, in our final?
Sorry, what was the question?
Easy Fun have never played LPP through the regular season. This was their first meeting, and obviously they lost. But Y&Y did beat LPP earlier on in the season, 39-21. So when you're looking at this lower bracket final, Easy Fun versus Y&Y for the final spot in the finals here, who do you want to win that game to have the better finals matchup and the better broadcast?
I think Y&Y has a better chance. They first of all, mind you, I don't think Matty Lou is the best rusher for that game. Isn't
Huh?
Matty Lou on the team?
Matty Lou's on Fast and Furious
Oh, so she's on Fast
Yes.
and Furious. My mistake.
Yes.
She was on Y&Y.
in past seasons.
But I think they have enough.
I
Like
gave
Andrew
you,
Dennis Lynch is a
I gave
really
you
good
the,
rusher.
I gave you like the weirdest look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was there for like 1,000 seasons.
Right.
So
Yes.
um,
But yes, Andrew Dennis Lynch.
Andrew Dennis Lynch is the kind of rusher that,
Like-
I think if we want to give Y&Y another championship, it's have them face the PC fuck.
Yeah, like there was I was live on Instagram, and there was a funny like few moments between Miles Gibbon and Andrew Dennis Lynch rushing him, where like he's like, dude, you kicked me in the in the shin after your release. Like they were just joking around and like having fun, but like he was for the most part getting the better of Miles Gibbon, at least on rollouts and stuff. He was able to still release the ball, but he couldn't get the chunk of yards that he normally does against other rushers.
Like with Andrew, you're not going to get to your second, third read, to your third and fourth read. So you'll get to 1 and 2, and that ball's going to come out.
Yeah, and then sometimes where Miles Gibbons was able to escape, for 20, 30 yards at a time, he was between Andrew and Rachel Valliere doubling down on tackles. He was getting like 4 yards max on rushing attempts. So yeah, that I do like that rushing matchup more than what Easy Fun can pose against Dom Lefort. I'm in agreement there.
Agreed.
All right. Do we want to talk a little bit about Tier 4 and get into that one? If there's anything else you want to cover for co-ed, or can we move on?
I think that's it. We'll do our picks at the end, like always.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go into Tier 4 here. Let's put you guys... there we go. Right in the middle.
Yeah.
That's us.
Sandwich me in, baby.
1 versus 2, a rematch of Game 8 going to finals. Penetrators save the turf trolls. Let's talk about the journey to get to this point.
The second most predictable final.
Yep.
In FPF.
Yeah.
They're the best teams in the division. I liked WIB 2.0. I thought their personnel change, moving Zach Stacy to quarterback, really helped them.
Yep.
But it's like we talked about. If Zach Stacy was able to stay receiver, and they had another quarterback. Like if Vincent Chung was the quarterback for WIB, they scored 60 points a game,
Yes,
right?
sure.
Like, and that's the thing is Zach Stacy in the last game throwing 3 interceptions, just too much to overcome. Save the Turtles defense is really good.
One of them was a end of the half pick, to be fair.
Sure, but
Yeah.
just 2 more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That's
The last one was the last play of the game, pick
Okay.
6. Yeah. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even in the end zone, actually, now that I think of it. Because I'm saying all this because it was on Game of the Week, and it's now up on
True,
YouTube.
it's true. It's a good
And
point.
it's now
I
on
didn't
YouTube.
finish watching it.
Yes, I was watching it here when I was waiting for you here for 20 minutes.
Sorry, I was working.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Now you know what it's like.
now you know it's like. Yeah, but honestly, like shout out to WIB 2.0 because like and Skylar Bailiff, like to not have the ego to step aside and say like, hey, there's someone else who's better for the team.
Yeah.
Yo, hats off to you, man. And I want to see what this team becomes because
WIB
that
2.0.
core is ridiculous.
Yeah, they signed up again, so
Yeah.
they're going to be
With
back 5 or 6. I can't remember.
Okay, either one, they'll be strong.
Yeah.
They'll be strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go. But Save the Turtles, Vincent Chung was just consistent as he has been. He ran when he had to, and Guillaume Dubois, Thomas Chaussee, like it's the names you kind of expect. I thought Simon Imbach would have more of an impact in this game, but instead this time I feel like it's either Simon Imbach or Sebastien Noel kind of take control. In this game, it was Noel had the better matchup, and so there you go.
Now that being said, we're getting a rematch of the other upper bracket game, which is Penetrators Save the Turtles here. On Monday, Penetrators beat them 33-29. What should we be expecting for this upcoming finals here? Is it going to be another like one possession clock management type of a situation? Do you think that, based on the stats here, Chung has a lower than usual game in terms of completion versus attempts, although the results for yards and touchdowns were reasonable? I don't know. I kind of look at this and I say, like, Penetrators just were in again, statistically, looking at the numbers, they were in a better position to score just based on field position or the way they've driven the field, right?
They're two of the same team. They're basically like a group that came in together that still have maintained their core.
Yeah.
And have just gotten better and better over time. And they have great chemistry, great timing, great feel of the game, great understanding of spacing of their concepts. Penetrators beat them the first time in week 2. It was a 34-24 game. And then they beat them this past week 33-29. So I think we kind of have a feel of what the score will be like. I think Vincent Chung needs to play a clean game, and they need to force Justin Goodman to throw an interception. They've gone to throw interceptions, but they haven't. Vincent Chung hasn't been able to play a clean game. I think this is the game Vincent Chung needs to run a little bit more. If something's not there, don't force anything. Run, buy time, do what you gotta do. Vincent Chung we know this. He's a ridiculous athlete. There's not an excuse for him to ever force a pass.
So Nick Vaughn was on last week and said didn't want to give it away, but said they have something ready to defend the run.
Great.
Don't know if it was sending a double
rush.
Once
you figure out what that is,
what
I would imagine is they have some sort of spy in their zone concept.
Yeah.
In which case,
it's what
start running there and then put it over his head.
That's it.
Right?
Chung has to, adapt to that. I think you nailed it, that these two teams are very similar. I also think the quarterbacks are actually quite similar.
Yeah.
They like to roll out, buy extra time, and hit receivers in kind of in stride, like I've alluded to in my articles. I think this past game, though, was closer than it looks. Sure, it's 33-29. It looks like a 4-point game, but it's a full touchdown. It's only closer because, and you know what? No, there must have been a safety. There must be some metric that's like a statistical metric that's adding points that's not on the board.
Yeah, there was
here,
a safety.
There must have been a safety, and there must have been
Vincent Chung sacked Goodman for on 4th down.
Okay, so then that's and Pease, since you're on the play-by-play, Save the Turtles got the possession back. Did they score on that next possession? Because that's huge. Because if you can get 2 points,
what was this?
After the sack,
they did.
They got and what was it at the second half, first half, and near the end?
It was right at the end of the game. They got the safety, and then they got a touchdown 2 plays later.
Oh, and got a 2-point convert too.
No, it was unsuccessful in that one.
It was unsuccessful.
They had that earlier.
They got a touchdown. So to your point, that's why it wasn't as close as the score indicates.
Although, I'm looking at, again, the order could be weird, but it looks like Penetrators scored. They then had the extra point, which they got. Then I think it looks like, based off of this, they went for an onside kick and got the safety on that onside kick.
Yes.
And then incomplete, and then they scored.
Right.
Ultimately, the safety doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
even giving up more importantly,
the safety matters more than throwing a pick six at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a better decision than just throwing the ball up.
Yes. So
probably just to burn plays.
There's that. There's the if you are successful on the onside kick, you keep
win.
Possession and
game over.
Game over. The 2 points doesn't mean anything. More importantly, giving them the ball and even letting them score, not letting them score, but even if they do score, it's not a problem. Even if they, get the score and the 2-point convert, it doesn't matter. So I think that's a great time to go for the onside kick.
Yeah, basically you're up by 12. They need to score twice on 2 plays, right?
I've seen so many teams not use the onside kick.
Yes, I'll get to it in tier 2.
Yeah.
of yesterday's matchup. Oh man, there was there was a time I think it should have been called and it wasn't, and we'll get to it.
Yeah. So that's what we think will happen. We'll get to our pick, like we said, when we do games of the week.
All right, so we're going to get to tier 3 now. And again, anything specific we want to cover. There was a lot of movement in here. Although, that being said, I mean, we talked about it a little bit offline before the show started. We had this whole conversation last week, Alexi and I, about how Arouche were going on this Cinderella run, and that in order to get themselves to the finals, they would need to go through the number 3 Bruins. Oh, jeez. And then either KMI or DNB, and then whichever one they beat there, they'd have to go through the other one in the finals to be able to win a championship. And lose their first game against Bruins, and that narrative goes away immediately. So,
close game, though.
Yeah.
I went to overtime. If I'm
At
not,
Hebert.
if I'm, yes, at Hebert. Yes, you
Wild.
read that. You read that right. Why?
Wild. I said
'cause-
wild.
Oh.
No, why? Relax.
I'm like, I don't know, because
Roller
the
coaster
dome's
with
up.
Iggy, man.
Yeah, because the dome's up. I don't know.
And a 3-2 overtime final as well.
Yeah. They scored on all 3. Bruins did.
Yeah, I would imagine the overtime, like the favorite in overtime becomes Bruins, right?
I don't know about that.
Really? Because Gab Wiseman's efficiency
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's yeah. I said I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Eric Lalonde. I don't even.
They. It's
How,
so
how can I? Okay, I want to say something. I'm gonna say this on the front end. I don't mean this as an insult. He never lives up to his potential.
yeah. We've literally talked. That was literally episode 1 of this podcast.
I know.
with Alexi, you, I think, and Eagle, where you literally called them the Dallas Cowboys of
Yeah.
of
But that's it. Like,
FPF.
but because they're good. And he's really good.
Yeah.
He looks the part.
Yeah.
He's like the Ryan Carew finessers.
Yeah. Oh man.
Those dudes, they look like they should be the stars of the league.
Yeah.
And they're good. They're
They are,
fine.
yeah.
But they should be more than fine.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on.
This was actually, if I'm not mistaken, Arouche's second overtime game of the playoffs. So against Ravens, they were down 19-0, staged a huge comeback that went to overtime, and they ultimately won 32-31. This was their second go at an overtime matchup against Bruins. Yes, it was 3-2, and I want to see if they scored on all the plays. Or Bruins scored. Yeah, they went for 1 on all 3 and got them all.
Yeah.
Look, yeah. So the past experience didn't necessarily quite help them here.
And
but
like to
all
the
for
point,
naught.
if you see like Gab Wiseman, you don't think when you see him physically,
Yeah.
this is an elite flag football quarterback.
Yeah.
You see Eric Lalonde, elite flag football, and like honestly, in a game like this, the guy I trust in overtime is absolutely Gab Wiseman.
Yeah.
And it's
Sure.
not close.
Yeah.
And it should be close. It should be. It should be one guy whose physical skills carry him,
Right.
and the other
yes,
one
Yeah.
whose psychotic neuroses and game planning will get him there.
Yeah. So, and I think there was talks that he may have been slightly injured
Okay.
because he didn't even suit up for bench warmers as QB, but he played receiver instead. It
That makes
was
no sense.
it was a little
Well, maybe it's a throwing like a shoulder.
maybe, but then
Unco-
the
discomfort.
next day, because that co-ed game was Sunday, the next day on Monday he did suit up, gets the overtime victory, but then kind of gets shellacked by Diamond Bougie. Diamond Bougie, of course, losing on Sunday to Kiss My In-Laws without, of course, Jules Regimbald. I was disappointed when I saw who was in the pivot position for Diamond Bougie. I'm like, wait, that's not Jules Rechimbal. Are they gonna call timeouts? Is he on his way here? Like, what's going on? So a bit of a letdown, a bit of a disappointment. I'll get to it in a second that I'm happy there's a rematch there. But first, they had to lose to us and then make their way back to the final by really crushing Bruins.
So, but Jules Regimbald in this game threw 11 passes,
Yeah.
5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns. half
So,
of them.
given the way the Bruins play defense, I actually find that surprising because they don't normally give up big plays. Like you can normally, the thing you can do against them is just continuously chip away.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like how is he taking these giant chunks? Like in 9 passes for 166 yards is nonsense.
So the first play of the game, I don't know if it was a hook that went for 39 yards or a 39-yard deep pass, but it's Felix Boutet. Like, come on, you played them. This is a rematch too. From last Monday. They played each other twice in 7 days. You know where the deep ball's going. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like-
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if it actually came on a deep pass, I'm surprised.
Yes, yeah.
Because they play that soft shell defense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So now Jules has an incredible arm. Boutet is incredibly fast.
And the Hébert field suits them so much better than it does for Bruins.
Oh yeah,
So much better. It's
a killer for Bruins.
It's a bigger field.
Yeah,
It's like 5 yards bigger. It's
wider.
wider and longer.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Like
so then
it's,
that definitely
it's
hurts Bruins.
an extra few yards longer.
Yeah.
So it stretches the field, and that is a huge benefit to Diamond Bougie.
Yeah, and we see they also had three. Sorry, they got three picks in this game.
Yeah.
And 2 of them being pick sixes. 2 of them being pick sixes.
Yeah,
That's brutal.
Fitzgerald Senate put the team on his back on this one with 3 touchdowns for 101 yards.
Yeah.
All 3 of his touchdowns. All 3 of his.
And he hasn't
receptions.
even been the guy we've talked about all season, right?
No.
We talk about Boutet constantly
And he-
because he's amazing.
And
but
he really should be. He made the All-Star team.
yeah,
So he is.
but you know what it was is that Boutet had these moments where he would
Yeah.
just flash.
Yeah.
Whereas like Fitzgerald Santos was just like continuous greatness throughout the season.
Yeah.
Right? It was like boring level of greatness.
Yeah. And
he
he's good.
bored us with his greatness.
I played against him. The guy's,
No, he's
the
good.
guy's really good. Yeah.
He's really and it's on us. And like, look, we have a lot of teams to cover, so we don't get to every player. And we typically, because of the nature of the show, we talk about the players who flash, right? And sometimes what gets lost in that is just players who are consistently great, and that's
Yeah.
what he's been all season.
Can I just point out the fact that at the beginning of the year, everyone was like, "Oh, Bruins, Gab Wiseman, best quarterback, easy championship, easy
Not
quarterback
easy.
of
It's
the
easy
year."
championship. We said-
Neither championship nor QBOY.
Vindication.
I think it's results over process there. But anyway,
Not the first seed either. To Alex's point.
Sorry?
I called him Alex. Ugh. That was weird.
it's weird.
Eagle.
I didn't even know who you were talking about.
yeah. Yeah, they weren't number 3 seed.
Yeah, he actually didn't play particularly well.
No. Again, was he
For his standard.
injured? Like 7 of 14, 63 yards, a TD,
Even
and 3
like through the
picks.
season, like 27 touchdowns in 8 games. Unremarkable.
Yeah.
I was thinking like 27 and 9. Like Gab will throw some picks, it's fine. But like if it was 36 and 9,
Yeah.
35 and 9, that's kind of what I expected.
Yeah.
In a season, I know it's a lot of touchdowns for 8 games, but it's kind of what I expected from who I thought was the best quarterback in the division. No offense.
No, some people put up 40 TDs in 8 games.
Some of you did. I know.
Not me, but
Oh, you
I may have, but I'm just saying Jules did it as well.
No,
if I didn't,
you just put up 40
43
Oh,
and
jeez.
5, yeah, 43 and 4, 44 and 4.
Yeah,
if
that
I
sounds
remember,
right.
444.
4.
So this leads us to our 1 versus 2 matchup, and QB1 versus QB2, if you want to look at it that way, the runner-up at that position.
Yeah.
Diamond Bougie with their quarterback, or at least we hope,
Yeah.
versus Kiss My one of them,
In-laws.
In-laws.
whatever.
The in-laws.
Take the over.
Yeah, take the over.
Take the over.
I'm
This is gonna
so
This will be max 1 stop in this game.
I'm so happy for Diamond Bougie that they're back
Yeah.
here because like I felt bad for them. Like
Yeah.
I felt bad for me. Like it sucked.
Well, the weird,
it was
like,
not
if
a
this
good
would have been the way
semifinal.
they ended the season,
Yeah.
they would have had 2 weird endings and 2 weird seasons. Remember, like last season, they were just all throwing
and
the ball,
Killer Rays, yeah.
and then
yeah.
and then this season not having the quarterback. It's weird.
It just like I'm happy for them that they get a real shot, and I get a real shot at playing them because it wasn't a playoff semifinal game. Like it just wasn't fun like that. But yeah, let's Peace. Go ahead and break this one down, and I'll nod my head.
I thought Kiss My In-Laws were the strongest overall roster. The thing is, you have the top end talent like Marvin Steinberg, yourself, and how you've developed as a quarterback. I've sung your praises enough. Alexei's a really good 2-way player. But we decided today he is the definition of a role player in our chat, and that's not an insult, by the way.
No, it's
he
not.
he does the thing he does really well.
Yeah.
Kenny Boutelier is underrated as a player, I'd say.
I love him as an
Like-
option.
like Literally underrated. Like his rating is too low for how good he is.
Yeah.
And then there's guys that nobody knows who I know. Lucas Kenville and Samuel. Oh, Samuel didn't play for you guys this
No,
season.
Gab, but I don't know if you know Gab Boucher. But Gab Boucher is very good player.
Oh, Gab Boucher I'm not as familiar with. But
All-star.
Lucas Kenville is a
Yeah.
speed demon.
Yes.
That's
That's
the
the cheat
key.
code of speed.
Yeah.
Like Alexi wanted Boutet and Kenville to go on a halftime. Maybe that now there should be a halftime show where there's a 40-yard race between the two. If
Dave DeAndre too is another guy.
Yeah.
Like I put him in the same category as Alexi. Like just a guy who can play a lot of different things, but the things he does well.
So I love him as a snapper. He knows how to read the defense and where to
He's
sit
played quarterback.
and where to sit in a hole. I love it.
And like that's with the system we run. That the snapper's
It's
key.
huge.
And the snapper knowing the hole. Like for us, I guess with what Rekka's used to running is very different. I had a hard time explaining because I played snapper, so for me this was easy. And I played with Jean so long it was easy. And like, but when your snapper finally gets to where the marks are on the field, it's
changes.
huge.
It's game
And
changer. Yeah.
Dave has that. His mind is shaped like a quarterback's mind, and he's seeing who's dropping and he's knowing where the hole is going to be.
Yeah.
So when you say bubble hook, he knows if he's bubbling right over the hole where the 2 or 4 is left,
Before
or
the
if he needs to bring it
rusher-
in tighter, or if he needs to go a bit further.
But before the rusher, after the rusher, he just he's
He
really
knows what
good
you're
at-
looking for.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like the roster top to bottom. It's one of the things I've been begging Div 1 teams to do is build a smart roster where you have your top end established talent, but also mine unknown players, and that's what you guys have done.
What do you think about rusher and defensive player of the year, Zachary Alberts Gill?
I don't know. Love Zach. I've played against Zach. He did not. I don't think he ever crossed the line of scrimmage before I released the ball. He stopped rushing me. He's like, "This is pointless," and he put somebody else to rush. And like he's good when he bears down on you. It's terrifying.
And I think bears down is the greatest use of words because he literally looks like a bear coming down on you.
By the way, I'm so excited to watch the movie Cocaine Bear. Very excited.
This cocaine bear.
We should go watch it with Zachary
Terry.
Albert's Gill. Not making any allegations other than bear-like.
Yeah.
But no,
19 sacks in 6 games. That's
he
crazy.
keeps doing it,
That's
dude.
crazy.
He's so good. I don't understand how someone who's not the fastest dude can be that good at rushing.
Yeah.
I can understand when someone who's not fast is a good rusher. I don't know how he's that good. Where he's like Hall of Fame bound with the numbers he continuously puts up. At
with
rushing.
with the numbers he's putting up, yes. With a rolling QB like Jules Regimbald, how do you think he'll fare?
So I don't know Jules well enough.
Yeah.
He doesn't cut back. He just rolls out, right?
Sometimes he does cut back.
Really?
Sometimes.
Okay, so on the cutback, that's where Zachary will lead him.
He made a nice move on a game of the week. There's a cutback move
Okay, yeah.
on Amar Jessa,
Yeah.
who's a great rusher for Bandits.
But
It's-
Zach has this.
Yes.
these
Oh,
wide,
yeah.
He takes this wide stance.
I'm not saying otherwise.
Like.
Yeah.
It'll be tough, but if he gets a snap and rolls out immediately,
He
that's
does,
a tough task for
which
Zach
is
Evans.
what he does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe you want to have a rover.
The
We'll
thing is,
discuss it
they have a running back option play. It forces Zach to slow down on a few plays.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say he won't get 6 sacks this game. Watch him get 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's possible, but unlikely.
Yeah.
Stuff
I
like
have a plan. I'll discuss it with you off air.
Okay.
It's
you have
weird.
a plan.
Eagle won't like it, but I'm a better play caller than Eagle, so even defensively.
So how about Diamond Bougie's side of things?
Yeah.
Here?
So they don't have the benefit of having the known quantities, right? Like they're not as well known in
Felix
FPF.
Boutet is making a name for himself.
Sorry?
Felix Boutet is
Boutet,
making
Regimbald,
a name.
obviously.
Is making a name for himself, and Regimbald as well. QB of the year, of course.
Yeah.
That puts you on the map.
They're athletic.
Yeah.
They've played football.
Yeah.
Jules is becoming a fly quarterback.
Yeah. Yes.
But
He's-
even though
yes.
I don't think he's at his apex yet, he has enough physical skill to carry him, to make them get to a finals, for example,
Yep.
in his second year in FPF, which is not the typical path.
That's hard with 16 teams in tier 3.
And tier 3 is not a gimme.
No, it's not.
Like
It's like Div 4 and 5 of a winter.
Yeah. A lot of Div 4, I guess, of winter. Because, Div C moved up largely to tier 2 for the most part. But yes, to your point, a lot of Div 4 and 5 from winter, like 5A and 4B, basically.
Beat the Bruins twice.
And Bruins are an established team.
In 7
It's
days.
not the best Bruins roster. Like, they don't have Louis Bégin and all that.
Yeah.
But, like, still, like, it's...
You're still Zach Zwern as a defender is a Division 1 defender.
Division 1 defender. Absolutely.
And, whether it was him or Rocco, like... And to beat them twice in 7 days, to knock out... believe they played. I can't remember their.
They
their
played
path.
Bruins,
Twice.
Kiss My In-Laws,
Yeah.
Bruins. They had a really boring path, and Killer Race.
And
Killer Race, I thought
that was their nemesis. That was their nemesis, and then they overcame it.
It looked like they were ready for him this time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, a bit of a boring path when you're facing the same teams the whole way to the the finals.
I'll ask you. I've thought about obviously this game. So Kiss My In-Laws didn't face their offense with Jules Regimbald not being there, but the Kiss My In-Laws offense did face against their pretty standard defense. They're
So
pretty
we
much their
talked about this
regular
before the
lineup.
show. It's more the pressure that Joseph Regimbald is going to put on you to keep pace. Right, like that's the benefit of having a stud at quarterback.
Yeah,
is you're gonna have to score.
So
5 minimum is a definite minimum in this game.
So we put up 35 on them last game, and that's their defense. Their defense wasn't missing a player like Jules Regimbald on the offensive side.
And you have the advantage that if they let you drive and eat clock, you're gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna take free stuff that they give you, and you have a good enough arm that if they do start to attack, you can hit over top, right? Like that's kind of the way you play. That's what you want to do. Basically, they give you deep, you take deep. They let you march, right?
So I'll just say it like this: if we put up 35 on them in last game, can they put up 36?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, the 5 minimum.
Oh, for sure.
The 5 minimum that I
don't
always
disagree
say
with
is
you.
an absolute minimum in this game.
Yeah.
If the plus minus is 70, take the over. Take the over.
Yeah. You know what? This game could go to overtime.
I think you need 6 touchdowns.
Yeah. I think I agree with you there. I think this is a overtime candidate.
Yeah. It'll be a fun game.
It's really fun.
In your heart of hearts.
And they're a great group of guys too.
So also one guy we've got to bring attention to because we obviously Fitzgerald's been great, but Arthur Doyon has been a great defender too, and the two of them make things difficult.
Doyon, and there's also who's there? One of their Nathan Desjardins.
Yeah.
This guy. I tried to throw over him. Yeah, that was a mistake. He's super dull, super great hands, great DB. Him and when the defense is clamping down on a read, like on receivers, they have a great rusher in Theo Gregoire who won't miss a sack. Like he won't let me like. Rarely does he miss a tackle.
Agreed.
Yeah, so they're going to be very competitive.
In your heart of hearts,
yes,
you wanted Bruins.
Oh,
not saying for the competition aspect, for sure. Iggy wins a championship aspect.
For sure,
you wanted Bruins.
For sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to the picks later.
We'll go to tier 2. Yeah, you guys can stay there on this one. Another rematch of the upper bracket that'll happen in our finals, but let's talk about that journey to get there. So, Kiss My Outlaws played Mangoose on the 27th. Outlaws win that one 38-34.
Comeback
and
fashion.
then
We both saw that game.
Yeah, there was some controversy
a little
for this
bit.
game.
But we want to.
Okay, so basically,
we'll go here. Yep.
Nick Schaefer throws a touchdown and screams, "Let's go!
Let's bleep and go."
Let's bleep him." Whatever. Doesn't. I don't think the sure. Maybe that's what got him the OC. But he screams, "Let's effing go!" He screams it pretty close and facing the rusher. He says he didn't see the rusher, which I believe.
I really believe him.
Because
I believe him.
Knowing his personality a little bit,
Yeah, he's not.
I can see it.
He's not the confrontational type like that.
And when you throw a deep ball, you're looking far. You're not looking right at. You know what I mean? Like you're looking far ahead. You're looking where the ball was, where it was caught,
Yeah.
and so like I believe he was looking beyond the rusher.
Oh no, you're No, he turned around. The rusher was behind him.
Oh, I'm misremembering it.
Yes, you
My
are.
mistake.
Yes.
You had a better view of it then.
So 40-yard touchdown pass to
Because I was at the other end zones when I saw the play.
Right. Turns around to get the flags. I don't know if Julien Prou pissed him off. Maybe he was like physical.
I mean, it's a confrontation of two of the nicest guys.
yeah, I know.
It's really weird.
It is weird. I just had, when I saw it happening, I'm like, oh man, Julien Prou must have been pissing him off the plays leading up to this, because he just stared him down, said, let's bleep and go, grabbed the flags out of his hand, and I'm like he must be I'm telling you, he looked at him dead in the eye and said it. I believe him though, that
just in the moment and
he
caught
just
up.
he came after, and I'm like, dude, why did you do that? What was going through your mind? And he said, I didn't even know he was there. I didn't.
For all you know, he was grabbing the flag from a teammate.
He's like, I was in my touchdown clouded moment.
Yeah.
And I really believe him, but I would have
think-
thrown a flag too. The
I have
optics of it merited the flag. I know Mangoose is not gonna want to hear this, but the flag was warranted. It was.
I have a
It was
different.
taunting. It was taunting.
I
I
have a different threshold for
It just
OC.
was.
An OC needs to be objectionable to me, and if you think that's objectionable, then you're soft.
Leo, I'm telling
soft.
you, it just was. You watch the NBA a
So-
lot. You see the taunting calls.
Okay, wait. So
Taunting barely gets called in the NBA. Come on, everyone's talking all the time. But
So-
the thing is like, my thing is, football is an emotional game,
It is, yeah.
and I don't think at any point it was going to lead to a confrontation.
No,
He was just excited
Yep.
and celebrating the moment.
it just looked.
The optics might not have been great,
It was the optics.
but
man,
I think
I'm telling
you kind of
I'm
need.
telling you.
If I'm reffing, I'm holding the flag for a second.
He was, and he did. He held it.
But
held
if you
it,
see
held
it
and-
escalating,
and had to, and had
but
to,
if you see it
had to throw
escalating,
it.
that's when you throw the flag. I don't think the action is enough to warrant.
there
like,
was
the
the
context
swing.
matters.
There was the swing of the flags, and I think that was the last straw on it.
I don't know. To me, it
Anyways.
has to be objectionable. Is grabbing the flag objectionable? I don't think so.
It was ripped. Anyways,
But
why
that's
was
not
this?
objectionable.
Why was this such a big play piece?
It's because the OC removed Nick Schaefer from the game.
With them up, I believe 2 scores.
2 scores, yeah.
Yeah.
Or 1 score. Oh,
no,
yeah, 2
no,
scores.
2 scores.
So, Eagles. So what happens is, Kiss My Outlaws now get to drive the field. Kiss My Outlaws get to drive the field. They score. They score quickly because A, they need to score quickly.
Yeah.
B, they need to do
Stop.
so because they know Nick Schaefer's going to get back on the field. So now
Yes.
Mangoes get back on the field. They go 4 and out because they don't have Nick Schaefer on the field.
They may have got a first down, but it could be. I could be wrong on that.
Nick Schaefer didn't retake the field.
No, on that drive, no.
He did not retake the
They
field.
had to punt, or they went.
They
for
either
it on
punted or
fourth
they went
down.
for it out.
Yeah.
Gave a handful of plays left to Kiss My Outlaws.
Yeah.
Steve Harper's out, who didn't play well.
Not in the first half.
No,
You
he was
saw the
come
first
back in the
half.
second half. He was fine.
Yeah.
But end of the game, throws a beautiful ball to Phil Fernand, who just does Phil Fernand
Oh.
things. Does this thing where he contorts his body to come
Yeah.
back to catch the ball.
Back of the end
Nonsense.
zone, 2 feet in. It was nasty.
Yeah.
Comeback complete. And
Yeah.
then this was key because you know what? It's smart that they didn't go for the onside kick after the first touchdown because you want to give Mangoose the ball
Without the
without
quarterback.
Nick
Yeah.
Schaefer. Yes, that was so
It-
that was the right
it's
call.
it's a harder thing for you to stop him there's like if you're not a quarterback, playing from midfield versus playing from your own end zone is very different, right?
Yeah, it's a daunting task. And yeah, the last play of the game, the proverbial just I'm not liking that, and I'm glad we changed it for the winter season. But teams after scoring a touchdown with 1 play remaining and I did it myself, are going for the onside kick.
Yeah.
With the last play of the game, and I literally ran it up 3 yards, so it's not a safety, and I took a knee.
Yeah.
It sucks, but that's the way the
That's
rules
one
written.
of the benefits of having saved it, right?
Yeah.
It's a game management issue. It's like how you use your timeouts.
Yeah, which
You know?
again for the winter season, it will
Cost you a timeout.
It will cost you a timeout.
And you need a timeout to run one.
You need a timeout to run one, and if it doesn't count as a play, in the final 5 plays. And if you are unsuccessful, it's what the lingo is point ball dead. So if it's unsuccessful,
They'll get it at the 5,
you'll get it at
example.
the at
or
your
wherever
own
the
fi-
receiver's
like,
tackled or whatever. Yeah.
So just to go back into the tier 3 playoffs for a second. So I score and get the extra point convert to go up by 1 point, 19-18 over Blue Dreamers with 1 play remaining. I go for the onside kick. It's a no-brainer. With the new rules in the winter, I would never go for an onside kick because it's
too risky.
It's way too risky. Are you
But the
kidding
thing
me?
is, you have all of this comes down to game
won't-
management, right?
It won't count as a play. And if I don't convert, I give the ball to the Blue Dreamers at my own 5.
Yeah.
There's
It's
no
a lot
way
to ask
I'm
for.
going for it. Anyways, that's back to tier 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of the other games leading up to the lower bracket here that we want to talk about, whether it being Sweat and Beers on a miraculous run, going through game changers and then blackouts by 1, but then getting caught up by Mangoose right at the end.
Sweat and Beers are such a different team when Chris Meillard is there.
Mm-hmm.
It changes
Wow,
the entire
really?
game.
Shocker.
He was
he's
there.
really good.
He was there yesterday
Yeah, yeah.
against
I'm just
against
saying they
Mangoose.
look good, right? Like that's why they look good throughout the playoff run.
Uh-huh.
They gave Adam Sinagra fits.
Yeah.
It was a weird confluence we talked about before. Adam Sinagra asking me for red zone plays, but he's new to FPF, right? It's a different game.
But just the optics of that and you saying that, Adam Sinagra, a Calgary Dinos,
The most decorated amateur quarterback in Canada, in Canadian history, basically.
coming to you and asking, "Hey, Peas, do you have a play for the red zone?" is the most FPF flag football
Yeah.
thing, like picturesque thing you could see.
And it's cool. It's cool on multiple fronts because it's a dude putting aside his ego, saying like, "Hey,
Yeah.
this guy knows this game more than
yeah,
I do."
yeah.
And also again,
Yeah.
the community building, right? Where like I don't think of another scenario where I would have even met Adam Sinagra in my life. You know what I mean? And like we just happened to both be there, and it was cool. And they gave him fits in the red zone. They made it a hard game for him. Rocco Cristiano was great in that game against Blackhawks.
Yes.
He was lights out.
pinpoint accurate with his balls. Yeah, one of them to the back corner. There was another one to Chris Meillard, just perfectly placed balls that the Blackouts defense just had no response for. And literally no defense could have had a response. Balls were just put on a dime, right, landing in soft like a pillow, landing in receivers' hands on their way to the end zone.
But I think Mangoose was too much of a tall order. For them, they're just the ease at which they can score. Sweat and Beer's defense is not great.
They weren't quick enough to adapt.
Yeah,
I knew it because I was scorekeeping it. I'm like, Thomas Kutsu has over 125 yards by now for sure.
yeah.
They
but he had
never
139, 3 touchdowns.
is nasty.
One of the most.
But
He
the thing
has
is,
been one of the most graceful runners in FPF.
okay,
His strides are beautiful.
but I'm telling you, 100 of those yards, Peas, 7 to 10 yard sideline hooks. 100 yards came from that.
So
And
when
they
we,
had
when we
Andrew
played
C-
against Sweat and Beers, they
They
made
had-
0 adjustments. the
They
entire
had Andrew Carruthers on Thomas Kutsu
That's a mistake.
for the entire first half. Finally, in the second half, I see Rocco Cristiano lined up in front of him, and I said, "My God, it's about fucking time! Like, what are you guys doing? You're the most targeted receiver is not being lined up with one of your best defenders,
Who was the matchup on Chris Meillard?
James Drysdale.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been Olivier Suri because Olivier Suri
He's
is a really
great.
good DB
He's
also.
really great. Yeah, but, he
But I
was
guess the
playing in
size is more of
safety.
a-
He was
an
playing
issue.
in the safety.
Sorry?
He was playing in the safety.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So look, to me, the Sweat and Beers defense unwillingness or too late to adapt to the Mangoose offense, and this is where I mentioned it maybe about 20, 30 minutes ago. They misused, in my opinion, the onside kick. The scenario is that they're down 2 possessions. They're down 9 points or so, maybe 10 points at this point. They score a touchdown. There's about, I believe it was 8 or 9 minutes left. I said, you need to go for the onside kick right now. Personally, I would have.
Yeah, same.
I believe with Nick Fawn on the sideline, I said, you should think about going for the onside kick. Nick Fawn going onto the field to start his defensive series. And he said, I I misunderstood him, but he's I heard him, or the way I understood what he said was it's not under 5 minutes left in the game. So I'm like, yeah, but irrelevant. So what ended up happening was, of course, Mangoose takes like 6 minutes out of the 8 minutes off the field and score. You have to assume
now you have 2 minutes to score twice.
It's exactly what happened. Like, nothing showed me that you could stop this Mangoose offense.
So put yourself in a position to go score for score.
Put yourself in a position where you go for the onside kick. If you convert, great. You have another possession. You have a chance now to take the lead in the game. You don't score? Great. You haven't been stopping them anyways. Put them on the midfield. They're only going to take four minutes now. Now you can still run your hurry-up offense. Hopefully still get one more. You obviously want to score. Get one more stop on defense. And you still have a handful of plays on that final drive. I really feel they mismanaged the use of the onside kick. And it burned them. They gave Mangoose the long field. They chewed up 6 minutes out of the 8. The game was over by the time they touched the ball next. They had to force the ball. They went deep twice. Got picked off by James. Game over. Yeah, that was the game. It was mismanaged use of the onside kick, in my opinion, and the too late of an adjustment on defense.
Do you think the narrative of Mangoose feeling slighted in the last round plays into how the game turns out?
Maybe, but it shouldn't. They should just go there. It's a brand new slate. They were up 2 scores. They were up 2 possessions on Kiss My Outlaws, and they let it slip.
Yeah.
How about this? If they have another 2-score lead, they're not letting it slip.
Fair.
James so we've known this. Mangoose, it might be their first final.
I think it is.
The addition,
which I always feel like Mangoose always played in a division too high for them.
Yes,
and then adding James Drysdale was like, oh no, this team is perfect for this division now.
And Olivier Souris on defense.
He's been there for a little bit though. I think it's his second or third season.
In and out.
Yeah,
he's more with the All Hooks franchise. It's the same.
They're the same. Yeah,
but with the Nick Schaefer at QB team led.
Yeah,
team.
those two teams are like the Royals. It's a very incestuous relationship.
Yeah, I think their missing piece was, in my opinion, it was the Souris on defense and the James drive was both ways, and
James, I think, especially on offense, he gives them that extra dimension.
That because they had complementary pieces to Thomas Couture, but this one's like a serious complementary piece.
Well, now they're the complementary piece to James Drysdale.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. They're like James felt he was not being double covered, but all eyes were on him, so that another certain route was wide. Other than the 7 to 10 hooks, there was another route that Couture runs, and it was wide open all night. So but I'm telling you, 100 yards came from hooks because they were I don't know what they were dropping deep on him. He's been running 7-yard hooks. It was infuriating to watch.
But there's some DBs that just drop.
It was infuriating.
They just
no.
instinctually drop. Anyway, let's move on to the one.
Yeah, so we're going to get to tier 1 here. Again, is this one of those, no surprise type of tiers at this point in terms of what's happened? So we have Kangaroos versus Blessed, which happened. Kangaroos move on. Blessed play Braves. Braves move on after finally getting a little bit of a revenge match there. Now we have Kangaroos and Braves. Which one do you want to start with here for our games? Also KGP Braves, but I mean...
They finally beat them.
Every single game, though.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the last Blessed Braves game.
Yeah. So versus Blessed.
Yeah. So Blessed beat Braves in the previous round.
Yeah.
And talked a lot of shit without Joe Mayo there.
Some shit.
I think a lot's considered. Did you talk a lot of shit when you beat the Diamond Bougie without Russian Bald?
No.
Well, that's the same thing because they didn't have Joe Mayo.
I guess. Yes. Okay. Fair.
And then Bless got smoked by Kangaroos, and then they basically got smoked by Braves.
Yeah. Braves are a different team with Joe Mayo is there, man. On both sides of the field, by the way, because Joe Mayo is also a really good defender.
So you say this. Does it change your opinion that Blessed was up 12-0 in this game?
No. I mean, it's Bless can keep pace. Bless is a really good team.
keeping pace. 12-0 is not keeping
No,
pace.
I get it. But I'm saying they can put up like it's keeping pace in the sense of that. Bless started with the ball, right?
Bless our what?
Bless started with the ball.
Probably, yeah. Yes. No, Braves did.
Okay, that's more surprising. But 2 scores, 2 stops. It's not ridiculous, but Blessed are really good.
Uh-huh.
They're a well-rounded roster. But
So the drive started, driving the field 12 yards, incomplete, bad snap for a loss of 13. Steve converts in 2 plays, 9 yards, touchdown. Joe Mayer next drive on 2nd down, intercepted by Will Power. Blessed drives the field.
it's probably not a real interception though, because a lot of guys say Will
Yes.
Power doesn't get real interceptions. I've heard that.
Blessed doesn't score on that drive.
Okay, that's weird.
Gets picked off by Steve does by Georges Garepi. Mayer responds with a 40-yard bomb to JD Chevalier.
So it wasn't. Oh, it's 12-6. Okay, and then Blessed scored the next drive.
yes, sorry. So
So it wasn't 12-0. It was 12-6.
It wasn't 12-0. Yes.
Okay, but like they're trading scores at that point, right? Like
Yes. Yeah.
trading scores, trading mistakes. Like that's what you expect.
So that's what I heard from this. It was the timely or untimely interceptions thrown by Steve Haraprasad. And one of them I saw myself. I'm like, oh, that wasn't Steve who threw that ball, right? Because it was a wobbler. It was not one of his finer balls. And I'm like, that wasn't Steve who threw that. And then Marvin.
That was peas.
No, I literally thought it was a double quarterback play, and someone else threw the ball. And Marvin at the end of the game was like, no, that was Steve who threw that pass. I'm like, I thought it was a double quarterback.
You
play
weren't
that went
scorekeeping that game, I hope.
No, I wasn't.
Thank God.
No. I was
Yeah, I know.
scorekeeping mine, and I was looking across
I'm just
field.
teasing.
Yeah.
Teasing. But
Hey, look, 21 for 24 in this game for Steven.
That's bad.
yeah.
Oh, 18 of 24.
No, 21.
Oh, 3 picks. Yeah.
He throws a catchable ball. But yeah, Steve Harper to throw under 200 yards.
That's
He threw under 100, but under 200 is not normal for him.
it was only
He
sacked
doesn't normally
once,
turn the
too.
ball over. But Braves are a really good team.
Yes.
And they're one of these teams, again, once they play you the first time, they learn what you like to do. They specifically attack it. They make adjustments in the second half.
I was surprised they could only put up 18.
Yeah.
Though.
That's the part of it that's
with,
surprising.
without Serge Pilon.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. And they put up because again, like my game, yes, you didn't face Joe Mayer, but you faced the Braves defense
Yeah.
pretty much.
But what's
With-
different here is that I don't expect, like in your case, I don't expect Tombo, whatever, to change their defense. But Braves will change according to their personnel, according to who they have, to what you're trying to do. I don't even actually think Joe played defense at all. And this is a Braves team without
did.
JD Chevalier, who had a high ankle sprain early in the season.
Yes.
So
correct. Yeah.
I mean, they're still good. Like they were probably up there as the best roster. I thought the 3 best rosters coming in were Braves, Kangaroos, and Blessed. Braves took a little bit of a hit, but the rest of the team is strong enough to carry them. Like if they lost one more piece, it really hurts them because the roster is kind of a thinner roster. But here's Stephen Harpersad's learning to play in high divisions too,
Yeah.
right? Like that's part of
The
it.
learning
Like,
curve. Yeah.
it's unfair to expect him to come in and dominate, even though I think
Oh,
he's
yeah.
played this fall season. He's been amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they took a beating to Kangaroos as well. Kangaroos, what I meant, this was something I poorly expressed last time I was on the show. When I said I saw the roster and didn't think they were overwhelming, didn't mean to say I didn't think they were a great roster.
Right.
I just thought they were like on par with Blessed and with
Braves.
Braves.
I got to disagree with you, but yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. But the big thing with them is they legitimately don't have a weakness
That's it.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. And I think this is Dan Lazar's championship to lose. I don't see a way they lose.
Like I saw a few of, I forget what highlights they must have been, but probably there's always someone filming a bit of their games. He was just destroying the defense out, like the Blessed defense. He was slicing and dicing. I wrote to him. He looked like a surgeon out there, especially with the deep ball. Like it's his thing.
So, but it isn't. It isn't. The thing
any
is,
of these guys
Dan
can get it.
Lazar's thing. He throws a beautiful deep ball.
Yeah.
probably the nicest in FPF.
Yeah.
But his ability to set up the deep ball,
Yes.
but being patient.
Yep.
He is this knack. Even though, look, we all put in a bit of weight when we stopped major athletics.
Yeah.
Dan still managed to maintain his athleticism, his agility, his relative speed. He's not gonna burn a rusher, but he can buy time, and he has such great pocket awareness that he can buy time.
Yeah.
He was a mobile quarterback, as you could tell by his height and tackle. He needed to buy time because he couldn't. Offensive lines were bigger than he was, and so he's taken that skill to a new level where he can feel the rush coming around him and still keep looking downfield, throw off platform downfield, or check it down.
Yeah.
You get infuriated, you step up, and he attacks you over top. He's
And
exactly surgical is the best word to describe Dan Lazaro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And with the receiving core that he put up with Phil Ferrand, Jesse Dupuis, James Alexis, AJ Gold.
and him having Phil Ferrand also takes him away from Steve Harpersad.
Yes, that's
a piece that hasn't really been replaced on the Blast roster. I think if Blast had Phil Ferrand, then we have three really legitimately competitive rosters, right? You know, and I think Kangaroos might be, to your point initially, a notch above. Like, I don't think they're completely blowing teams out of the water. I don't think it'll be a blowout between them and Braves, but I think they're a touch better. If JT Chevalier plays, they're closer.
For Braves?
If he was there, they would be closer.
Right. Yep.
Is there another game we want to cover here in terms of... So the final will be Kangaroos Braves.
Yep.
Not necessarily predictable. I thought Bless had a chance to get in there. KGP always has a chance to get in there.
Yep.
But, hey, and KGP lost by a single point.
Yes.
They're a single point away from being in this final, basically. So, Blast take on Braves. It's a matchup we all want to see, right? We want to see Joe Murray versus
Kangaroos.
Dan Lazaro Kangaroos. I knew who I was talking about. We want to see Lazaro versus Mayer.
Yeah.
You know, the volumes between these teams are building, right? Like for years we had D-Boys and Finest, and Braves were that first team to knock Dan Lazaro off the mountaintop. Like Dan was looking for his first championship, right? And then he lost in that Div 2 game against Braves, and they've had this back and forth ever since. And it's so cool to see like volume 4 or 5 or 6 at this point. It's awesome. It really is awesome.
I'm really excited for this one, and I believe it's the second game on the docket. We're calling it, actually.
Yeah, we're calling the Audible.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this one. I want to see who doesn't want to see points and points on points?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to get in this game. Is it the proverbial who has the ball last in their hands? Maybe the onside kick. How much of that is?
That's another thing is we've never seen these two in the finals with that mechanic.
Yeah.
Right.
So I saw in the play-by-play Joe Mayer, I believe right after his first touchdown used it, try to get an extra possession right immediately. Will he do that in the final? Will he use it? Will he kind of conserve it maybe at the end of a half with 4 plays remaining, to not let Dan Lazaro touch it with 4 plays for, blocking a chance from him getting the chance to score and instead getting the Braves to go down the field and then start the second half with the ball again, like get that famous Bill Belichick extra possession. Game management, those final few possessions, the onside kick, it's going to be...
Because if Braves... Well, my guess is Braves will start with the ball.
The higher seed...
Kangaroo is home.
Okay.
So I'm sure Dan will put them on offense to start.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the best choice is to go for the onside after scoring the first drive if they do. Because it gives them sort of the advantage of the halftime, right? Like of getting the ball at half.
It's hard to know that. The best time to take it is if you just scored. If you're Braves, you just scored and there's 6 plays or 5 plays remaining. Then you go for it. But if you can get a 2-score
lead before Dan Lazaro touches the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's, and I asked Mike Pierre saying like, what does Joe run for the onside attempt?
Yeah.
Because I was like trying to figure out what I can run, and he said, I don't know, man. You try and cover George Gary P. He's like the guy's a beast. So like he wins a 1-on-1, and that's the play. I was like, all right, cool. Just be a man. I'm excited for that final. I'm
Yeah,
excited. For that final.
so does it come down to who has the ball last, and is extra point converts a game of converts here?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that was a question. So thank
Oh,
you.
sorry. What was your question? I thought I was setting up games of the week already.
Is it?
But I mean, that's usually what it is, though, right?
Yes,
It's if neither quarterback makes a mistake, it's a clock management game in last possession or maximizing possessions. If one quarterback makes a mistake, that's the game. That's usually what ends up happening here, unless we get one of those. Was it Kevin Wyeth who threw a pick six in one of the games and then went 3 touchdowns back to back with 2 extra point conversions just to bring himself back into it? Essentially, yeah, like that's the only time I've ever seen in a final, especially where you go down early and you manage to catch yourself back up at the end.
I think the defense who can force the turnover will be the advantage.
I think that's Kangaroos.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
I think it might be. This honestly, it's having seen how the whole season played out, having seen how Dan Lazara used this roster, it's Kangaroos championship to lose.
I think so. I really strongly believe that. He put up. He just looked like he was playing Madden out there.
And he barely threw to A.J. Gomes last game.
Yeah.
Barely.
Like he doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like the receiving core he created,
They fit perfectly for what he wants to do.
It's perfect.
Who is AJ Gomes? Oh wait, that's the wrong person.
That's not Andre Knights.
Yeah.
Mocon.
So
Somehow Mocon came into this
what?
indirectly.
How so?
Andre Knights. I don't know. You've
No, there was
mentioned it.
Someone
Okay.
asked at
Oh,
one
it's-
point who's Andre Knights, and then they put together like a highlight video. It's old. It's pre-P's era of FBF, so it never happened.
Okay.
It's flat Earth. Hey, so like we talk about how you dig a hole to China, right? Like if you dig a hole through the Earth, like you
Yes.
can't do it obviously because it's the core and
Yes.
science. But do flat Earthers think that you could dig a hole to space?
Yeah, you just fall to oblivion.
Yeah, all right,
Has to be
cool.
that.
Okay.
Let's get started.
All right.
Games of the week. The very last time we're going to do this for the Fall Cup.
Yeah,
the
music.
very last time we're going to do
2022.
this for 2022. And going into this, I believe neither of you are good at these picks. That's
I
what
pick
we've
with my
proven
heart.
this year.
I do what my heart tells me.
I used to keep tally of that. Maybe I bring that back.
You should,
Yeah. I was usually the winner of those, by the way.
because you manipulated the scores.
Absolutely. It was my Excel spreadsheet.
I'm putting in the work. I'm going to win.
All right, we're going to go in the same order we covered all the divisions today. We're going to start with the women's final, which will be Sunday, December 4th at 6 o'clock in Lachine. We have the Brutes versus Vortex.
So this game is being called by Alexis Dubois and Lori Willette.
Nice. Awesome. I am going to go Brut.
I'd like to. I love Maud Lacasse. I love the whole team. Laurence Pontbriand, amazing red zone threat. We talked about all the reasons they should win.
Yes.
There's one reason they shouldn't win. And his name is Mo Khan. Mo Khan loves them. I gotta hate them. Give me Vortex. I'm gonna do it. Listen, I just gotta be right one time.
Living and dying on this hill.
Live by the Vortex, die by the Vortex. That's the thing. That's the
All
thing.
right. All right.
All right, we're going to go co-ed tier. For this one, it's actually going to be a triple pick. We're going to start off with our semifinal lower bracket game, which is Sunday at 4:30. This will be Easy Fun versus Y&Y.
Y and Y should never get championship. Let's go easy fun.
I think Easy Fun wins this one.
I think so.
right.
We gave the analysis before, so.
And then our final is going to be on Monday, December
Oh, and
5th.
calling that. Sorry. Oh no, sorry. That's the.
Yeah, 9:10 at Stade de Montréal. It'll be Les Petits Phoques versus potentially Easy Fun.
Well, let's go. Let's pick for each scenario.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yes.
So easy. Let's go with that one first.
Okay, it's easy
you
fun.
predict-
Le Petit Fuck.
I'll go, Le Petit Fuck. Eagle.
And in the darkest timeline.
Are you going to pick it?
He
Pease?
doesn't. He
I
did.
did.
Your Easy
The
Fun.
PJ.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even hear you. Okay. And then, LPP versus Y&Y being the other possibility.
Darkest
here.
timeline. Unfortunately, Y and Y wins the championship.
I agree with you there. I see Y and Y winning.
So
that
you agree it's
matchup.
the darkest timeline.
That too.
There we go.
Pizza and Iggy in the in the morning.
Nice. Nice.
All right. Tier 4, Monday, December 5th, 10 p.m. at Stade de Montréal. We have.
Oh wait, sorry. The co-ed game is being called by.
Mo.
No. Yeah, co-ed's Monday. Yes, Mo
Yes.
and Iggy.
All right. And then
Oh,
for
okay.
Tier
Yeah, you
4,
got
we
both games on
have
Monday.
Oh, okay.
I'm not working.
Monday, 10 Stade de Montréal, Penetrators versus Save the Turftles.
Yeah.
Penetrators have won 2. I think it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Vincent Chung is as smart a player as I know. It's going to be tough, but
man.
give me Save the Turtles. SFT.
You know what? This game's going to overtime. And my winner, you can find out in my article.
Boo! All right, we're gonna go tier 3.
So wait a second. Calling that game is Mo and Iggy. Look, Iggy didn't know his assignments till just now, so.
Surprise! At least you don't have to talk too much. Mo's gonna carry you, so you're good. All right, we're gonna go tier 3. Sunday, December 4th at 9:40 p.m. at Lachine. We have Kiss My In-Laws versus Dime and Bougie.
You pick?
I can't pick it.
Coward.
Fair.
Diamond Bougie get their quarterback back. It's a lot of backs, but Iggy's got back. And I like what you did against their defense last time. I don't think they're changing their defense. I think it's just going to be a battle of athletes, and I think Iggy's experience wins out at quarterback. So give me Kiss My In-Laws by 5 points, not 50. 5.
Okay,
Maybe
we're
got
gonna
back.
go. You want to talk about who's broadcasting this game?
Broadcasting this game. Which one is it?
Tier 3.
It's
It's
Pease
you.
and Simon Dagenet.
Whoa!
Back from the grave.
Oh, that's a blast from the past right
Yeah.
there.
Boom.
It will be the least professional of the broadcasts.
Well,
Next.
you say that because there's another broadcast with you and Simo, and that's our
Oh,
tier.
we're going to make that one worse though on purpose.
Perfect. Tier 2, Sunday, December 4th at 8:30 in Lachine. We have Kiss My Outlaws versus Mangoose.
Rematch.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I want to pick Kiss My Outlaws so bad because they're my boys. I love them. I think there's something about Mangoose this year, and I was impressed by how well they played defensively against them last time, which I did not expect because I didn't think much of their defense this season, to be honest. They improved as the season went on, and I think the narrative plays the opposite way. I think it energizes them. I think Nick Schaefer is going to play with a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, and that's a tall shoulder. Just one of them. He's got like a
Make the
imbalance.
official pick.
I did. Mangoose.
There you go. If he does, he better not get an OC. Man, this has the potential to go overtime as well. This one's not in my article because I don't write.
Pick it, you coward!
Kiss My Outlaws by.
By the way,
one.
I may change my picks for the article.
in
Sometimes
OT.
as I'm writing it, I convince myself.
Yeah. Overtime win though. Kiss My Outlaws.
Let's do it.
All right, and our broadcasters are.
Pease and Simon.
And our last game, I mean, technically it's one of our firster games.
The first.
But it's
Oh, yeah.
different order. Tier 1, Sunday, December 4th at 7:10 p.m. in Lachine. We have the number 1 Kangaroos versus the number 2 Braves. I think it was 2.
I think we did an unnecessary amount of analysis on this game already, so let's
Yeah.
just make the picks. I'm
Yeah.
going to go Kangaroos.
I think it's Kangaroos' championship to lose. Kangaroos.
All right. If there's one of the games that you think is the one that people should be tuning into, which one do you think it is?
And why? Why can they tune in?
Because we're going to be broadcasting this online live on our Facebook page, so you
Another
can go ahead
cool
and tune
thing
in and
to
stream it.
YouTube?
Probably Facebook, because YouTube, the streams aren't the same. But anyway, we'll get there. Well, we'll
one-
pick a platform, we'll tell you where it is, and we'll ship it.
Yeah. One game Kiss My Outlaws Mangoose. That one's nasty.
I kind of like that one. Yeah, I like...
Kangaroos?
No, because we've seen that a bunch. So, like, I kind of like the up-and-coming forever battle of Save the Turtles and Penetrators. I feel like that's going to be a rivalry
Yeah.
for years to come.
Yep.
And I like the way Vortex is going to make me look good. So, Vortex and Britain and Women's, to be honest.
Yep.
All right, and that brings us to the end of our show. As of kind of a final sign-off from my end, thank you all for dealing with our technical glitches this year, and by that I mean when Iggy had to act as producer for one show. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate your audience and everything you do to make this show fun for us to produce. And let us know your feedback for this Fall Cup season. The double elimination format is something we thought of as like a neat way of making it into a true tournament and making the regular season matter. And as we're seeing for our final results, those teams that had a matchup in the upper bracket are getting some matchups again in the finals because of that double elimination process. So the rivalries are heating up in this Fall Cup. So let us know if you like it, what you'd like us to change.
All of that, by the way,
and
was
everything.
Eagle's idea and not Alexis.
Yeah.
Correct.
Just to be clear, because
I loved it.
Eagle said louder. I thought it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Really
I had
fun.
less fun here too.
Yeah.
Joking though, because honestly, great group of guys. I had a blast every week showing up. I didn't enjoy showing up in the cold so much.
At my house?
No, I enjoyed that. But I'm saying when we played in the cold,
Oh, in the cold, yeah.
yeah, that was less fun. But it was fun. I got to be roommates with Iggy for a season.
Yeah.
I got to have a good time with good friends. It was a fun environment. I love the tournament feel.
I loved it.
It's
Awesome.
We need more indoor games for next fall, though.
Yes.
That's the only criticism I have. Which, if that's your criticism, feel free to send
Please send it.
that to me. Yeah. So, for the last time this season, Iggy, thank you for joining me. Well, we'll do that during the broadcast for sure. But thanks for joining me on Calling the Audible for the last time this season.
Thanks for having me.
Eagle, thank you for all the work you've done. For everyone who's been involved, for Jeremy, for Lori, for
Mo.
Mo Khan, obviously. Well, Mo barely worked this season, to be honest. Our scorekeepers, all the people that work to keep the back end up. Joey, Carlo, I guess.
Chris.
We have an immense team that most people will never know. The referees, but mostly the community. Thank you guys for making everything what we do worthwhile. And most of all, I want to thank you all for letting me be myself.
Put the place up. Yeah, we